Okay, here we want to solve the cube root equation. 2 times the cube root of 6x minus 3, or 6x minus 3 to the 1/3 power. That's another way to say the same thing. Minus 4 equals to 0. Okay? A lot of times we refer the cube root, which can be a radical with an index of 3, or something raised to the 1/3 power. Both of those, we can call those the cube root. Okay? So let's go ahead and begin by isolating the cube root on one side by adding 4 to both sides. So let's do that. I'm going to do a plus 4. And I'm going to do another plus 4. Because when I do to one side, I want to do on the other. So give me another plus 4. Okay. And there, a little itty bitty 4s here. Okay. Alright, I'm going to actually make this larger. There. That way you can really see what's going on there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is add 4 to both sides. Right there. And right there. And draw my line. Okay. Alright, that's just going to leave me with just the cube root portion by itself. So let me copy that. I'll just copy the whole thing and just eliminate what I don't want. And I'm going to have a 4 instead of 0 on this side. Okay? We've isolated the cube root. Okay, now what we want to do is, oh no, we haven't quite isolated yet. We still got that 2. So we need to divide both sides by 2. That's what we need to do. So I'm going to take this entire side here and I'm going to take this entire side and divide it by 2. And what I do on one side, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. Once we've done this, then we would have isolated, because now I can go ahead and just got a little ahead of myself there. Forgot about that 2 there. Okay. Now that's gone. Let's isolate and simplify now. Okay. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just type this now. I've got 6x minus 3. Close that, and I'm going to raise that to the power of 1/3. And that is equal to 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Right? Change my. Okay. Now that's better. Okay. Now we have isolated the cube root. We got to make sure there's nothing on the same side with the cube root. We want to make sure everything is gone. I'm showing you what I did in red. So so what we did in red is what we did to isolate the cube root. So I'm going to make that in red as well. Okay. So everything in red was done to isolate the cube root. Okay. All right. The next thing we need to do is eliminate the cube root by raising both sides of the equation to the 3rd power. Okay. And in the last example, I didn't actually show that. It looks kind of cumbersome, but I can do it here. It's a little easier with the fraction. So let me basically just copy all of this. And to raise this to the 3rd power, all I really need to do is multiply this exponent by 3. So times, I want the times 3 to be up there with the exponent. So that'll look a little better. Let me see if I can do this way. That didn't work either. All right, let's undo. Okay, and I'll just use some parentheses here. All right, I can just go 3 times. I can just do it that way. All right, and I will also raise 2, 3. Okay, once I do that, these cancel out. I get a cancellation here. That goes away. And that's just going to leave me, and I also simplify the both sides of the equation there. So we'll just have 6x minus 3. All the cubic is gone, and that's equal to 8. Okay. Now we got something that we can pretty much solve here. We're going to add 3 to both sides, and that's 6/8 plus, not plus, equals 11. Okay. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 6. So x is equal to the fraction of 11 over 6, which does not reduce. Okay. All right. So that's our solution. Now we will take a moment to check it. Now we're ready for the check. All we're going to do is just basically just put this 11/6 in for wherever x is. Okay, so I'm going to start by copying the original equation. You always substitute in the original equation. All right. The reason why that didn't paste right is because I used the text box. So I'm going to select this again, and this time I'm going to use a math box. That's the difference between the math box and the text box. Now I'm kind of running out a little room here, so I'm going to actually make this a little smaller. Okay, these are skills you might find helpful. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to take this same equation, but I'm going to put the 11/6 where the x is. So I'm going to copy it once again. And I'm going to take this x right here, and I'm going to put like a parentheses and a fraction 11 over 6. And I'm going to get rid of the x because I just replaced it. Okay. All right. So that's what we need to check. I know that looks cumbersome, but actually it's going to be pretty easy because, as you can see, these 6's are going to cancel out. So what does that leave me on the inside? That's going to leave me with 11 minus 3. Okay, 11 minus 3. What is 11 minus 3? Well, first of all, let me write this so that you can see what I'm talking about. So I got a 2. On the inside, I got 11 minus 3. And that is to the 1/3 power, so I need to raise that to the fractional 1/3 power. I know this looks scary. But, you know, a calculator will also check this as well in one step. Okay, you can just enter. If you can always use your calculator if you want to do that. Okay, now but I want to show you every step. So 2 times, what is 11 minus 3? That's 8, and the 8 is going to be raised again to the 1/3 power. And then, oh, sorry, I went to the wrong page there. All right, minus 4 equals 0. Point is, I want to get 0 when I get to the nut. Equals 0. Okay, now I'm just about out of room, so let me move some of this stuff up. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that extra mink spot there. Do that. Okay. All right, we already know that counts. So, how can we simplify this? Well, do we know what 8 to the 1/3 power is? This is when your calculator could come in handy. You can go 8 to the power of 1/3. Let's see if we can go 1. Yeah, 1/3. That's 2. So this ends up being 2 times 2 minus 4. 2 times 2 minus 4. All right, so this ends up being 2 times 2 minus 4. Question is that equal to 8? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, isn't it? So 4 minus 4 equals 0. Sorry, I don't know why I said 8. But since 4 minus 4 is equal to 0, then the check, it passes the check. So I can go ahead and make that red. We've done all 3 steps, and we know that we have found solution. The solution to the problem is x, and I'll go ahead and make this big and green, x equals to 11, 6.